It's a man's job to make the first move. At least that's what everyone assumes. But here's the truth nobody tells you. In 2 out of 3 cases, it's actually the woman who starts it. Not him. The problem isn't that she doesn't make a move. The problem is her signals are so subtle, most guys miss them completely. Today, 7 real flirting signals, backed by actual research, not pick-up line nonsense. Stick around till the end because the last one almost no guy ever figures out. Welcome to Dear Myra. Signal 1. The head tilt and the held gaze. In early interactions, before anyone says anything risky out loud, the body talks first. A slight tilt of the head is one of the oldest, most consistent signals of warmth in human behavior, something researchers have documented across cultures for decades. And then there are the eyes. Watch for someone holding eye contact or even closing their eyes for just a beat longer than feels necessary. In the animal world, that is not nothing. Closing your eyes near someone is a trust signal, the same instinct behind what researchers call the cat kiss. When a cat slow blinks at an owner, it trusts completely. Humans do a version of the same thing, just slower to notice it in ourselves. Signal 2, and this one matters more than any single cue on this list. Never read one signal in isolation. Behavioral researchers, including the well-known work of Monica Moore on courtship signaling, found that attraction shows up as a cluster, multiple cues stacking on top of each other, not one dramatic moment. A smile alone means nothing. A laugh alone means nothing. But a laugh while she is leaning in, while she is touching your arm, while her head is tilted toward you, that is not random anymore. The mistake most guys make is either ignoring every signal or overreacting to one. The actual skill is counting how many show up at once. Signal 3. The signal's built for distance. When she is not close enough to lean in or lower her voice, the body switches to bigger, more visible movements. A hair flip. A glance that sweeps the whole room before landing, just for a second, on you. These are not subtle by accident, they are not meant to be subtle. They are built to be seen from across a room. The same way a peacock's display only makes sense from a distance. If you catch one of these and assume it was random, you are missing the entire point of why it was big in the first place. If Signal 3 just explains something you have seen and never understood, drop a like. Subscribe to Dear Myra, we drop new videos every week on attraction and psychology. Signal 4. The signal's built for closeness. Once she is near you, the big movements disappear and get replaced by small ones, because broad gestures up close look strange, not charming. Leaning in slightly. A playful touch that did not need to happen on your arm, your shoulder. And here is the one almost nobody notices consciously. Her voice pitch rises slightly when she is talking to someone she is actually interested in, a small involuntary shift that researchers have measured directly. You will not catch it by analyzing it in the moment. You will catch it by noticing the conversation suddenly feels lighter, faster, more alive than it was a minute ago. Signal 5. Intentional but deniable. This is where flirting gets specific without ever becoming a confession, and there is real research behind exactly how. A study out of the University of Augsburg analyzed roughly 140,000 words of actual flirting conversation and found it consistently falls into a small number of categories. Talking about an imagined future together. Compliments. A little self-praise casually dropped in. And occasional sexual innuendo, light enough to laugh off if needed. The reason flirting stays in this zone is not shyness. It is design. Every one of these lines is concrete enough that you would notice it if you were paying attention, but vague enough that she can deny it ever meant anything if you do not. Signal 6, and this is the part that explains everything else on this list. Why does not she just say it directly? For most of human history, people lived in small communities where everyone knew everyone. If a man made a direct move and got rejected, it stung, but he recovered. If a woman made a direct move and got rejected, the entire community could brand her as desperate, and that reputation followed her. So flirting evolved to be readable to the right person, and deniable to everyone else, including sometimes herself. Vague is not weakness. It is centuries of risk management compressed into a glance. Signal 7 is the one most men have actually watched happen and still never understood why it worked. Keep watching. Signal 7, and it is a true story. Long before she was Marilyn Monroe, She was an anonymous teenager in a Los Angeles orphanage, wearing a plain white blouse that had worn through. One day she borrowed a small, tight sweater from a younger girl in the house, simply because her own clothes were falling apart. At school that day, she noticed something she had never experienced before. Boys gathered around her wherever she walked. That night she wrote in her diary, "They stared at my sweater as if it were a gold mine." That was the moment she learned she could influence a room just by how she presented herself. Years later in Hollywood, surrounded by women considered more conventionally beautiful, she discovered something even stranger. Men treated her better when she played a little dumber, a little more clumsy, than she actually was, despite an IQ rumored to be over 160. She was not hiding her intelligence by accident. She was making herself approachable on purpose, giving men a reason to feel needed instead of intimidated. That, more than any single line or gesture, is the most direct form of flirting there is. Not telling someone you are interested. Showing them, through how you let them feel around you, exactly who you are. Here is what ties all 7 of these together. Flirting was never random, and it was never one-sided either. Most of it has a real, researchable structure behind it, built over generations to be noticeable to the right person and invisible to everyone else. The guys who read these signals well are not lucky. They are just paying attention to clusters instead of single moments, to context instead of guesses. And the guys who keep missing them are not unattractive. They are simply looking for a neon sign in a language that was designed on purpose to whisper. Subscribe to Dear Myra, and I will see you in the next one.